So, hey, I want to describe some phenomena for TI enduring synthetic telepathy torture, where your mind and sense organs have been made a surveillance device, um, in addition to the other targeted individual tactics used against us. I'll call satanic shotting off satanic misdirection. So my body is a surveillance device illegally. They will fake people's forms around me that normally were in my life, like parents, staff at a halfway house for mental patients, famous people, you name it. These electromagnetic form perpetrators that Kevin Christian is talking about can, within their programming skills, fake anybody that they want. I'm getting a really bad headache right now because they're torturing me. So they will come in front of a TI who's under surveillance and has a surveillance device body and do horrible, horrible satanic things and say horrible, horrible satanic things in the image of a person that I know. Like this guy, David, who works downstairs here at the facility. And then I'm also under surveillance because they perp these areas like everywhere I go. So an image of David will do something and say something horrible and sit downstairs and be satanic, use satanic repeaters and suggestors, try to obscure, otherwise distract, use very few words, and R&M calculations on how people will react. Meanwhile, there's a planetary enslavement program underway. Anyway, so satanic slingshotting and satanic misdirection. The misdirection is that's not really David downstairs. That's an EMF perpetrator impersonating David. So that's the misdirection. Like everything coming to and from this isn't really actually David. So he'll come here and be like, satanic! And then the EMF perp takes off, and all that's been documented, and people think that it was actually the full-blooded mammal David that did all that stuff, including me early on in the I have a really bad headache, and including me early on in these deception, war crimes against creation. So all of that negative energy is getting generated by the perp in the image of David. The perp takes off, and then next time, if I don't know any better, next time I see David or whatnot, I want to yell at him. I want to what the electromagnetic form perpetrator deserved. I wanted to inflict on the person that they really wanted the harm inflicted on. And for me, it's usually just verbal, but words can kill. So the misdirection is it's not really the psychological staff of Sequoia Mental Health and LifeWorks. So that's the misdirection. It's not really the guy that's on staff here. Says horrible, evil Satan stuff. Satan, Antichrist, and devil individually and as a group. All EMF perpers. Worldwide. Without exception. Absolutely. They topped the 10 Commandments and destroyed the Constitution and think they're God or something. And they're subhuman. I'm vastly superior to just about every single one worldwide. A lot of the TIR. Anyway, so the slingshot is when I connect with the real person and think it was from the behavior of the EMF gang stalker. So you take out the EMF gang stalker, and then all this negative energy that it was being generated gets slingshotted at real David. And so that's an example of satanic misdirection and slingshots, and it destroys relationships and things like that. I met a woman who's getting perpetrated, and she's new to it. She's 10 months into it. I'm 15 years into it. And she's being convinced that her ex-husband is horribly, horribly torturing and abusing her daughter. And then they're in the process of getting a divorce, or we're divorced. I have a headache. And I don't want to trigger anybody else who's been abused. So cover your ears for the next 15 seconds if you're easily triggered. She's being falsely convinced her ex-husband is raping her daughter so much that her kid's going to have a hysterectomy and never be able to have children herself. And she's absolutely convinced of this right now because of satanic misdirection. And then the slingshot is set up. Like all that negative energy is she's going to direct at the ex-husband, and then all of the Satanism, absolute Satanism that will be, talk about a helicopter parent, everything that's ruined and otherwise hurt and harmed with her relationship with her daughter, who wasn't getting raped by her father and now is going to be thinking her mom's just even crazier than, and I don't have all the RNM calculations. I'm, watching how all this stuff plays out, but that's an example of what I mean by satanic misdirection, and then the slingshot to destroy relationships and other complications, creating hell on earth for my friends. And they do that shit to me and other TI. So, yeah, that really happens. I thought my parents were dead and replaced by reptilian aliens for months. They're not. They're fine.